Hello again, I'm Blunty. Now most of you are probably already aware that Nintendo have been pushing out a new version of their Nintendo DSi. In Japan it launched as the DSiLL, and here in the Western countries where it has been rolling out progressively over the last few weeks, it is known as the DSi XL, which stands for extra large, despite extra starting with an E. Basically what we're dealing with here is a Nintendo DSi with boob implants. Boobs are still boobs, now they're just bigger boobs. The guts of the DSi XL are identical to the DSi. Same processor, same interface, same low resolution toy camera, and as I've already given the DSi a once over on video when it launched, there's no point into going into that stuff all over again. So what is different? Well, of course, there's the bigger screens, which are just over 90% larger. They seem about the same brightness as the DSi, maybe slightly brighter thanks to simple physics of a larger surface area with which to throw light and pretty colours at your face with. Now, although these screens are bigger, they are exactly the same resolution as its smaller brethren. So what you wind up with is simply bigger pixels, which I've heard some people complain makes text a bit fuzzier and graphics look more obviously pixelated. But to be honest, in my time with it, this hasn't even remotely hindered my ability to read text or enjoy games. Quite honestly, I don't know what these people are bitching about. Personally, I found it easier to read text and see detail now that the screens are bigger. One clear benefit to the significant size increase of the screens is it's now much easier to draw pictures, trace paths, or write words in games and applications that require you to do so, and it makes these activities much more pleasant than trying to clumsily scroll on the much smaller surfaces of the XL's other family members. So now you can draw those penises in Picto chat sessions with even greater ease. I've also found that using my meaty man thumb to stab at on-screen buttons and icons is also now much easier and more accurate, which means I have to reach for the stylus less often in certain games. And on the note of controls, the physical buttons and D-pad are exactly the same size as on the DSi, which seems to dwarf them a bit, and they felt slightly too small on even the DSi. So here, while they don't feel fiddly or awkward, they do give you a weird sense that they're too small. They do seem to have a better feel now though. I think they changed the mechanical contacts underneath the buttons. The build of the unit itself feels very solid, and compared with my DS Lite and DSi, it definitely feels like the toughest brother. Although I don't like that Nintendo have switched back away from the wonderful matte finish that the DSi had, and have returned to a glossy finish whose only purpose in this universe is to keep you busy wiping smears, smudges and fingerprints from it until you die of old age. Although I will admit that it does give the unit an air of sophistication and makes it feel just a little bit classy, which I suppose is what they were going for, seeing as they're aiming at an older market. And in deference to the grown-ups, they've also included a big pen-sized stylus, which is much more comfortable to use for long periods if you've got grown-up sized person paws like me. The standard skinny stylus is also included and hides away just like in the previous models. Of course, there's no way to actually clip or attach the bigger stylus, so it's going to be a lot easier to lose. There's also a small collection of built-in games and software, including some card games. I particularly enjoy Blackjack. There's also a little bit of Brain Training Arts Edition and Flipnote Studio for creating some animations. The web browser is here again, of course, for what it's worth, which isn't much. Alright, so down to basics and down to the question that people have been asking me since the release date for these in the Western world was first announced. Is it worth buying? Well, when they were first announced, I was a bit dubious when they came out in Japan, the DSiLL, and, you know, I was thinking to myself, what's the point? It's just a bigger version of the DSi, which is fine. I own a DSi, I enjoy it, it does the job. What's the point of a bigger version? And for the sake of journalistic transparency, I didn't buy this unit either. This one was actually given to me by Nintendo when I attended the press launch for the DSi XL here in Australia. But having said that, and now having played with it for a few days, yes, I would be happy to go out and spend my hard-earned doubloons on a DSi XL. I actually enjoy using the DSi XL more than my DSi, simply because it feels more comfortable in my big man mitts. The screens are more pleasant to look at, having more space on the touchscreen is wonderful, and I can even skip wearing my glasses while I play curled up in bed. Now, my prescription isn't that particularly strong to begin with, but it's still nice having screens bright and clear enough so I can just lie on my pillow and without having my glasses sort of dig into the side of my head. And one last bonus to the unit being bigger by its very nature is you've got more room inside for a gutsier battery. So despite having 93% larger screens with which to suck up the joy juice with, this thing actually lasts up to 3 hours more than the previous model, which means you'll get up to 17 hours playtime out of this. And that's just lovely. I'm actually quite pleasantly surprised. I didn't think that a simple size upgrade would make a significant enough difference to warrant me going out and buying one. But now, having played it, like I said, I certainly would without hesitation. Now, I wouldn't recommend everybody who owns a DSi or even a DS Lite rush out and buy one of these, because it does really do the same thing. But all those little benefits sort of gather up into a ball of worthiness, basically, and all I can say is, in my experience, I enjoy using the DSi XL more than I do using my DSi. It's simply a more pleasant experience all around. Anyway, that's my take on the DSi XL. Thanks for watching. I'm Blunty, and I will catch you next time.